6 Lewis versus Oleinik. So in the last video we broke down the prelims, so check that out if you haven't. First fight of the main card, Beneil Dariush versus Scott Holtzman. Beneil Dariush, after some people thought that his chin had went and stuff and that he was chinny, he has put on 4 wins and 3 of them finishes in his last 4. Dating back to 2018 November against Diego Moses. Was seen in his last performance against Jacoby close to his power still there, and that he's not as he's not as dodgy on the feet anymore as I think he thought he was, because he's very cautious on the feet now. He's like over him because he's been knocked out twice. He is very reluctant to get in stand-up battles and stuff, or exchanges on the feet in the pocket. But I think he can take confidence from the Jacoby close fight, because he did knock him out, and Jacoby close is a good striker and he knocked him out. So hopefully that's a confidence booster for Beneil Dariush, because I do rate him, and he's one of the guys I like as a fighter to bet on, because he always goes out there to win. He has sort of adapted his game to a more grappling orientated approach in his past couple of fights, ever since he's been KO'd twice. I've seen he finished Drew Dober just this time last year around, which is very good feather in his cap. He choked out Frank Camacho in 1 round, and then he knocked out Jacoby close, as I say. So there's plenty of fight in Dariush still. He's only 31. He has sort of had a decent bit of damage in his career, but he's not out yet. He's still very good, and to be honest, I think he's only getting better. I think this is the best Dariush we've seen, which isn't good news for Scott Holtzman, because he is a guy that's basically on the tail end of his career at 36. Even though he did look good against John Miller and stuff, Scott Holtzman's coming up against the upper echelons of the division now. Before they break into the top 10 maybe. Beneil Dariush, very good fighter. Very good jiu-jitsu. He's a high level black belt. I think Scott Holtzman is a black belt as well, but he's not a Rafael Cordero black belt, and he's not of a high level black belt as Beneil Dariush. So we have seen Scott Holtzman be put on his back before and have trouble against Nick Lenz, who is not a fighter you want to lose to, especially in 2019. It's never good for your record, but we also seen Josh Emmett take him down a few times. And yeah, I mean, he doesn't have the best takedown defense in the world. It is sort of improving, but still, basically when Beneil Dariush goes for the takedown at this stage of his career, he gets it, and he is very dangerous in round 1 with the subs and stuff. If Holtzman gives up his back in a transition, Dariush will wrap him up and choke him out, no problem. Also think that this fight is more even on the feet than possibly people are thinking, because as I say, Dariush, he can take confidence from the Jacoby close fight. He knocked him out in 2 rounds on the feet. Beneil Dariush he's quite good in the feet. He's if not better than Holtzman on the feet, I would say, probably. Just the only red flag is Dariush's chin, maybe. That's like the only sort of major takeaway, the major con, so to speak. And Dariush's stand-up game, it's his durability. Maybe it's deteriorating. As we've seen in Hernandez fight, the Barboza one, 2 vicious KOs. But, you know, he's still holding up. And I think that Beneil Dariush puts on another show. I think he gets the win here. I think he takes Holtzman down, causes him problems on the ground. As he that's just what he does now, Dariush. You know, unless you've got very, very, very good takedown defense, he's going to take you down. He's gonna put it on you, really. And that's what I think he does to Holtzman. And I think if Dariush gets Holtzman down in round one, I think he, you know, saps his energy, because Holtzman's big, muscly. He's a muscly lightweight, like, so he is. He carries a lot of strength and muscle, which take more oxygen to, you know, carry around the octagon, especially if you've got someone like Dariush who's wearing on you the whole round. So yeah, I think Dariush, it's hard to say whether he finishes Scott Holtzman or not, because Holtzman hasn't been finished yet. But at the same time, there's something about the Apex, just these finishes quick. And, you know, I don't know, Dariush's his last 3 out of his 4 have all been finishes, so I'm going to go with Dariush by sub here, so yeah. I think he outwears Holtzman on the ground, and he eventually gets a sub, I think, in rounds 2 or 3. Next fight, Yana Kunitskaya versus Julija. Not even going to try and stay at second name, but yeah, she's coming in short notice. Julija, she fought in Invicta for the bantamweight title, which turned out to be a very brutal fight, you know, very bloody and stuff. But if you watch her fights, she's very jiu-jitsu heavy, so she is. She doesn't have much takedowns there. She sort of relies people coming on top of her to set up the armbar and stuff, because she finds it hard getting people to the ground. And I just think that Julija finds Kunitskaya's range difficult, and, you know, struggles to get inside and take her down. I think this fight, some of it maybe contested in the clinch, you know, up against the cage, but I don't think Julija takes her down. But at the same time, it's women's MMA, it's hard to protect. And you know, there's a reason why Yana Kunitskaya is minus 230 favourite here. She's expected to win this one. Julija coming in on short notice, very she's like a 1990s UFC fighter, you know, very one-dimensional, that's the word I'm looking for, because she just relies on her jiu-jitsu. But you never know, it's women's MMA. Kunitskaya might just fall in and do an armbar and get topped out inside a round or something, who knows, but most likely not. Most likely Kunitskaya wins the decision here, because she's a better striker. I expect her to keep this one on the feet and stay at range, because she fights very long. I think Julija will struggle to get inside. And I also think that Kunitskaya doesn't finish her, because if you watch the Invicta bantamweight title fight that Julija had against Forzosa, you know, she can take a shot, like, so she can't. She's very tough. Fights out of Lithuania. She showed in that fight that she can take what girls are bringing her in this weight division. So I don't think she gets finished, to be honest, but I think Yana puts a clinic on the feet for a decision victory. Alright, so next fight, interesting one, Darren Stewart versus Maki Pitolo. Up at 185, this one. So I taped this fight about 2 hours ago. And I basically took away from it that if we look at Pitolo's odds, I think he's very live in this one, to be honest. He is unbeaten at middleweight. He looks very good at middleweight in comparison to when he fights at welterweight. He looks a shell of himself there. You can tell he's depleting himself very, very significantly. And if you listen to Pitolo's interviews, he cuts down from 215 to make welterweight. Well, he used to. So, you know what? Obviously took a serious toll on his cardio, his chin, and his overall performance, which is seen by his two fights inside the UFC at 185. And he has looked the best he's ever looked in both of those fights. He knocked out Charles Bird. He actually retired Charles Bird there in June, UFC 250. You know what he does? He gets people up against the black lines and just unleashes these body shots while their back's up against the cage, and he just rips the body crazy. And it just seems to just mess these fighters up. His nickname's Coconut Bombs for a reason. But saying that, Darren Stewart's never been finished, and he does not come across to me as a guy who is going to be took out by strikes. And when I say he's never been took out by strikes, I mean he's never been knocked out. You know, he's got a chin on him. He's got a beard. He doesn't come across to me as a guy who would quit in the octagon, really. Because if you watch some of Pitolo's losses, he's a bit flaky at times in his losses. He gives up, in my opinion, a bit. In the Colin Potter fight, it was just bad, you know. Minus 365 favourite and he loses it. It's a bad sign to me. But as I said, it was at 170 that fight, which he killed himself to make. And but yeah, as I say, ever since he's moved up to 185, he's looked amazing. And his fight in the Contender series was at 185. He got a first round knockout in that one. Body shots again. So when he backs people up, he just gives them problems because he rips a body. He is sort of like the Diaz style, like Nick Diaz. If you ever watch him back in the days, he will mix going up from the head to the body very well, and it's all power shots. At 170, I think he was concerned with gassing, that he threw, when he was in that position with fighters then, he threw the punches at like 50%, but it just seems like at 185, like he doesn't give a fuck. He just 100% into all shots, and he just causes people issues. And I think he will cause Darren Stewart issues, but if there's one fighter in this fight to give up after adversity, it's not Darren Stewart, to be honest. It just isn't. It's going to be Pitolo, to be honest. Because if he gets dinged, he sort of just... He sort of gives up in a way. I just think he flakes a wee bit. He loses motivation, whatever. He sort of thinks he's going to lose when he's... You know, he's not going to all the time after adversity. He needs to conquer adversity in fights more, I think. Especially if he is in trouble. Because I think Stewart is, you know... I think it's 50-50 fight, to be honest. Because Stewart is very good in the feet. He hasn't fought a pure stand-up striker in a long time. Apart from Beneil. And he got decision victory there. But the only reason why I haven't bet Maki Pitolo at 8-5 is because, as I say, if one fighter's going to give up on this one, it's not going to be Darren Stewart. So I think this fight's good for live betting, especially if Darren Stewart doesn't put Pitolo away in round 1. I think Pitolo could outwork him in rounds 2 and 3. Maybe get a late finish, I don't know. Because Pitolo's cardio and, you know, durability at 185 just seems different level to when he was fighting at welterweight. He's just, to be honest, he's like Poirier. He's a different fighter up a weight class, so he is. You know, at his more natural weight class. So I do like Pitolo's value side here, but it's just Pitolo historically has shown that he's flaky, and I can't bet flaky fighters. It's one of my commandments. So I'm not going to bet Darren Stewart, but I think he wins, possibly by TKO. But as I say, the value side is on Pitolo, especially if you like Pitolo yourself, go ahead. He's 8-5, maybe a unit or something, a unit on him maybe at those odds, because it is wide. But yeah, Darren Stewart by TKO on that one, better chin and less flaky. So co-main event, this is a fight that's been on my radar ever since it got announced, and I pulled the trigger bad. I misjudged the values or whatever in this one. I stuck about 2.5 units on Omari Akhmedov at 8-11, so that, because I didn't think he would. Honestly, I actually thought he was going to be like a favourite for this one, like a moderate favourite, maybe 180 odds, and I thought he would just stay there, because Weidman, he is 1-5 in his last 6, and he's got finished in all those 5 losses, which, even though it is against high level competition, it's still bad, and his chin is just gone. It's dust, I think. And if you're asking me, he is a USADA victim. I have no evidence to believe he was on the juice, but if you look at his body and stuff, it is different. And if you look at his performance levels in the octagon, it's very, very, very different. Akhmedov is this, he's this counter striker, good wrestler. He doesn't have much TKO wins. I think he has won the UFC, but if you go back and watch his fights, he does have good power. He does, trust me. If he connects with one of his hooks on Weidman, he's going to knock him out cold. But it's just a matter of if he connects. I can't see Weidman knocking out Akhmedov, definitely not. Can't even see him finishing. I can see him maybe taking him down, but I can see Akhmedov getting up within 30 seconds or so. And 15 minutes is a long time to be in the cage with Akhmedov. He put the hands on Ian Heinisch when they fought, and he was close to finishing Heinisch in the 3rd round, if you watch that fight. And see, I've bet Akhmedov in his last 2 fights, so I have. He's came through for me, and I even had him by decision in that Heinisch fight, and it was like 4-1. It was crazy. It was a good bet. But I just think Chris Weidman is washed, to be honest, and I think that Akhmedov eventually finds that chin and possibly knocks him out. And even if it does go to the judges' scorecards, Akhmedov has a very friendly judges' style, which is seen by his decision. See, every fight that's went the distance in the UFC, he has never lost in any of those fights. So how many is there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So he's 6-1 in 7 decision results in the UFC. And that's see that 1 on the record. It's a draw against Marvin Vettori. It's not a loss. So he's 7-0-1, should I say correctly? So he's never been beat by decision. So yeah, and he's underdog for this one. I can't believe it. It's hard to get around, but I mean, what else is there to say? I liked Akhmedov before tape, and I like him after tape. So Akhmedov by TKO there. So I'll make this one quick. Derrick Lewis, Alexsei Oleinik. I went into tape, before tape, thinking that Oleinik was a great bet at those odds that you see, 23-10. But after tape, I can't see a way that he gets Derrick Lewis down unless he, like Ezekiel, chokes Derrick Lewis down and brings him on top of him, because Derrick Lewis has very good takedown defense as of recently, and I just can't see how Oleinik gets him down. I can see him being knocked out, to be honest, in this one. So that's my picks for UFC Vegas 6. So thanks Thanks everyone for listening.